What if the way you see yourself, success, money, and even reality itself is incomplete? Over the years, a handful of books have completely changed how millions of people understand the world. Some reveal how habits shape your future. Others expose hidden psychological traps. And a few challenge everything you thought you knew about society, power, and human nature. Today, we're exploring 7 books that can fundamentally change the way you think. Imagine if everything you believe about success, happiness, money, and even human nature is only part of the picture. Throughout history, a few books have managed to completely transform how millions of people think. These books don't just give information, they change perspective. Let's begin. 1. Atomic Habits. Most people think their lives change because of big decisions, a new job, a new city, a new relationship. But James Clear argues that our lives are actually shaped by tiny actions, repeated every day. Think about 2 people. One person improves by just 1% every day. The other ignores small improvements and keeps doing the same things. For weeks, there seems to be no difference. But after years, the gap becomes enormous. The lesson is simple. Success is rarely the result of one dramatic moment. It is usually the result of hundreds of small decisions nobody notices. The habits you repeat today are quietly building the person you will become tomorrow. 2. Man's Search for Meaning. This book was born in one of the darkest places in human history. Viktor Frankl was imprisoned in Nazi concentration camps during World War II. He lost almost everything. Yet he noticed something surprising. Some prisoners gave up hope quickly. Others continued fighting to survive, despite terrible conditions. Frankl concluded that humans can endure extraordinary suffering when they have a reason to keep going. His famous idea was, he who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow. The book teaches that meaning is not something we find. It is something we create. And often, meaning becomes most important when life becomes difficult. 3. Thinking fast and slow. Do you trust your own judgment? Most people do. But this book reveals that our minds make mistakes far more often than we realize. Kahneman explains that we have 2 thinking systems. One is fast, emotional, and automatic. The other is slow, logical, and analytical. The problem is that the fast system usually takes control. This is why people buy things they don't need. Why investors panic during market crashes. Why first impressions can be misleading. The book shows that intelligence alone does not protect us from bad decisions. Understanding our mental biases is often more important. 4. Sapiens. This book asks a fascinating question. How did humans become the dominant species on Earth? We are not the fastest animals. We are not the strongest. We are not the biggest. According to Harari, our greatest power is the ability to believe in shared stories. Money, governments, corporations, laws, nations. All of these exist because large groups of people collectively believe in them. This ability allowed humans to cooperate on a scale that no other species could achieve. The book changes how you look at civilization itself. 5. The Psychology of Money. Most people think building wealth is about intelligence. Housel disagrees. He argues that money is more about behavior than knowledge. Many brilliant people lose fortunes. Many ordinary people quietly become wealthy. Why? Because financial success often depends on patience, discipline, and emotional control. One of the most powerful lessons in the book is that enough is never enough for some people, and that endless comparison can destroy happiness. The book teaches that wealth is not just about earning more. It is also about wanting less. 6. The 48 Laws of Power. Power exists everywhere. In business, in politics, in friendships, in everyday life. Robert Greene studied centuries of history and identified recurring patterns of influence and human behavior. One lesson appears again and again. People are often motivated by status, recognition, and self-interest. Understanding these motivations helps explain why people act the way they do. The book is controversial because some readers see it as a guide to manipulation. Others see it as a guide to self-protection. Either way, it reveals aspects of human behavior that many people never notice. 7. Meditations. Nearly 2,000 years ago, the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote private notes to himself. He never intended them to become famous. Yet those notes became one of the most influential books ever written. His central idea was simple. You cannot control what happens around you, but you can control how you respond. Most stress comes from trying to control things that are outside our influence. Other people's opinions, unexpected events, the past, the future. Marcus Aurelius reminds us to focus our energy only on what we can actually change. And that lesson remains just as valuable today as it was in ancient Rome. Conclusion. These 7 books teach different lessons. One teaches habits. One teaches meaning. One teaches psychology. One explains civilization. One explains money. One explores power. And one teaches inner peace. But together, they reveal a larger truth. The quality of your life is deeply connected to the quality of your thinking. The more you understand yourself, other people, and the world around you, the better decisions you can make. And sometimes, a single idea from a single book can change the direction of an entire life.
Knowledge alone doesn't change a life, action does. The ideas you've heard today have influenced millions of people around the world, but their true value depends on what you do next. One idea, one decision, one new habit, sometimes that's all it takes to change the direction of a life. Thank you for watching.